We're going to talk about the effects of what we put on our body because most people have their lotions and their potions, right?
Yeah.
Growing up, you always are told you have to wear certain things, use certain soaps, shampoos. You have all this deodorant, all these things that you're putting on your body. And then women have even more. They have makeup, they have skincare regimens. There's
hmm
always one thing that everyone always makes you do, and that is good old fashioned sunscreen. There's this huge push for sunscreen. I know it's been around since I was a kid. Always wear your sunscreen, protect yourself from the sun. Sun is bad. You'll get sunburnt. You'll get skin cancer. Don't go outside without your sunscreen. And then there's a bunch of crap and toxins and products. And then there's a bunch of benefits from the sun. And there's also a bunch of dangers from the sun. But the big thing that I ran across the other day that I had to double check on was a post from Natural Nurse Mama. Most sunscreens sold in stores contain testosterone blockers.
Well,
And I was like, that's a cool way to capture some attention right there. But there's one chemical in particular called oxybenzone. And this is the one that actually has problems with testosterone. The first question people ask when they think of things you put on your skin, they go, well, it's just on my skin. I'm not consuming it. I'm not taking it in. It's not going to affect me as much because your skin absorbs everything. Your skin absorbs the air around you. It absorbs your shower water. It absorbs whatever deodorant you put on, whatever skin cream you put on your face. There's a ton of random ingredients, if you look at the back of those things, that you would never want inside your body. This is even worse than the back of food products. When it comes to skin products, there was nothing. I was like, everything I look for, even in like Whole Foods in the natural section, it's got this laundry list of ingredients that I have no idea what half of these things are. And I've been experimenting with all kinds of skincares, but I started using animal fat as part of my skincare routine. There's a blend of products called Fancy Farm Skincare. And I just pour that on my face, and that's been my go-to lately. But before that, I've tried different things. All the plant-based vegan stuff just had all this weird shit in it. And I was like, 48 healthy participants. There was a study where there was 4 sunscreen products, and there were different spray-wise, lotion-wise, pump-wise, and then they were applied to about 3/4 of the body. And then every 2 hours, there was a interval. So they would just reapply. And then to do 21 days for each participant. So over these 21 days, they would do 34 blood samples. All of these chemicals that were in these sunscreens were found in each person, each participant who did all different 4 sunscreen formulations. And they all had this plasma concentration that surpassed the FDA threshold, which is scary because the FDA threshold is already probably not the most health conscious. What you want 0 chemicals like this in your system, but there's still a small threshold for it. And even after doing it for 3 weeks, there is already an amount of these ingredients that were just stuffed in the blood. Often when you're a kid and when you're a teenager, you're told to reapply, you're told to put on sunscreen, never be out in the sun without sunscreen on, all these different things, which is already dangerous. The sun also has very, very beneficial effects on your body. And when you put sunscreen on your body, it blocks the process where your body can synthesize the vitamin D from the UVA and the UVB rays, which is what gets blocked from the sunscreen. Your body can tell you when you have too much sun if you're not wearing sunscreen. So you'll know naturally when to get out of the sun. You'll have to go in shade. You have to cover yourself up. Too much sun causes sunburn, especially people who eat high PUFAs. For a lot of certain foods will cause more sunburn. But also people who go to the beach and just chill out in the sun, staying pasty white, but they're at the beach all day. So their body's not getting the benefits. And you see these people everywhere who are just leather skin. Like they literally look like they just came out of like a museum of archaeology. And that's from years of tanning oil, and they still wear SPF. They still wear all these crazy chemicals. The people who have it figured out, I would say, are the ones who are in the middle of it, who are not out in the sun all the time, getting as much sun as they can, getting basted in sun, and not the people who are covering themselves every single square inch of their body whenever they have even a little hint of sunlight. People in the middle are the ones who go and they get sun for about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, depending on how melanated their skin is, depending on where they live, or they're realizing that it's enough. And then they cover themselves, preferably with clothes. They'll cover themselves with protection, or they'll go in somewhere in shade too much sun and too little sun are both damaging. There's also a new research showed that serum testosterone concentrations and the urinary BPA and then other endocrine disruptors levels in male and female children and adolescents were impacted negatively. I think the most interesting part of the study is that there's still this impact that we have with what we're putting on our body, how it impacts us in our childhood, which is when we're told to wear the most sunscreen, to avoid the most sun. And then we have this endocrine disruptor problem where men are having low testosterone. They have no idea why. And it's starting in their adolescence, and it's starting with what they grew up with. So not only is it in their sunscreen, but it's in their hair products, it's in their cooking products. They're putting all these things in their body that are going to start them off so behind. I never really got into this stuff until I was like 20s, early 20s. Unfortunately, I had no idea what I was doing before that. And I was using these products. I mean, I was a lifeguard. I was wearing sunscreen every day. I was lathering up in sunscreen. I was using the special one to like get tan. The sun is powerful, and I need to use the sun to my advantage. And speaking of the power of the sun, wearing sunscreen is one thing. Wearing sunglasses is also one thing, because you need to protect your eyes from too much sun exposure. But getting sun in your eyes, as we both know from Andrew Huberman, is one of the best ways to not only stimulate your mental health and align your sleep schedule, but also to prepare your body for sun exposure. When you're out in the sun, covered in sunscreen, wearing sunglasses, not only are you getting endocrine disruptors, not only are you not getting any of the benefits from the sun, you're actually going to be getting depressed. Your body is not going to be getting those benefits from the sunshine that it usually needs. And you're going to be hurting yourself, hurting your testosterone levels, while also hurting your mental health.
I think it really comes down to lifestyle too. And because no one spends any time outside whatsoever, not even like the 15-minute minimum, not even the 2-minute minimum in the morning when the sun's rising, that no one's ready for it. So when they do have a day where they're out hiking or they're out at Disneyland or something, then they will get burnt the fuck up or even have sun poisoning. That definitely happens, especially if your diet's shit. Like it's going to be even worse for those people that already have shitty diet and lifestyle. For me, I just last year, of course, I was exposing myself to all these rays, like the UVA rays, UVB rays from the sun, gradually, not only because I wanted a tan, but just for health and vitamin D levels. And I built up a base tan, of course, which is protective, like they say in this study. Getting your melanin activated is protection. You know, excuses. I can't be outside. I don't have the time, the 15 minutes to go for a walk on my lunch break at work or something.
Right?
You know,
Just strip in your underwear and go for a walk. Well, maybe not the first part, but definitely the second part.
get some, butthole sunning. Like, well, my neighbor looks at me when I'm tanning. It's like, no excuse.
Yeah, well, lucky them.
Flash your booty hole to the sun.
I actually do have OnlyFans friends, 2 girls. They're awesome, but they do butt sunning all the time. They love it. I think it's so cool.
I love that for them.
They're just out there just tanning their butts, tanning their yonis. Sunscreen, people. It's so damaging, and especially when you inhale the stuff. There's certain things in there, like certain things that can be.
I always
carcinogenic.
hold my breath. Like if someone's spraying it near me, I'm just like.
Dude, in Hawaii, one of the ingredients is actually banned because it kills the coral. One of the most popular ingredients. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that can't be good for our skin then, you'd think, right?
Exactly. Right. But I still wear stuff. I wear zinc oxide sometimes if I really need to cover my face. I mean, I have the beef fat.
Oh yeah.
I wear that. So that helps with the sun protection as well. And I'll put that on. I'll wear clothes. I won't put sunscreen on my body. If I need to be in sun for a long time, I'll wear clothes that don't give me tan lines. Sunscreen wise, you don't need a bunch of fancy sunscreen. You don't need some banana boat. You don't need some crazy SPF level. All those things are going to do are just mess up your hormone. Not only your men's health, but they're going to mess up your thyroid hormone. They're going to mess up your organs. They're going to be possibly carcinogenic. And that's the last thing you want to be spending money on.
Thank you guys for joining us with the GigaCast. And of course, hopefully you learned something interesting today. Stay Giga.